This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Manan. Today we are going to talk. Let me turn the camera on. Today, all we are going to talk about HCPC and how to register yourself. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And here is the channel Physio Gateway. You all can sign up for the channel. In the past, we have talked about PhD opportunities in the US, about Australia, FCCPT about New York and other states. We also talked about Tier 2 visa for UK by Sanchit Jain. It was a very interesting webinar. We had a lot of question answers. So let's come back to the point. If you want to get registered for HCPC, what to do? So all you have to do is go to google.com. So HCPC is the registration body who gives license to qualified physiotherapist from UK or anywhere else in the world. So you have to go type HCPC Register, and you want to see the check the register or registration, no matter whichever you click. Let's say we go here, and from here getting on the register, because you all are trying to get on the register of HCPC, correct? So let's click on that. Now application routes, there are few routes, but which route? This is for UK applications, means people who studied in the UK, but most of you studied outside. So international applications, there is another readmission appeals, means your application is denied. You can appeal here. Dual registration, means maybe you are qualified for several other things other than physiotherapy, and there is a Brexit, so COVID-19. Okay, so our thing is international. That's all you need to worry about, international application. You click on the international application and you see what is available, how to apply international application forms, information for applications who trained outside the UK. So let's see how to apply. So submit forms and security fee, receive confirmation letter, processing and assessment, and decision letter. We are going to cover all of it. So this is the international application forms, because we need to have a forms in front of us first. Okay, so these are some downloads. Application for registration, international, and guidelines for international application. We are going to open both. HCPC course information form, it's a blank Word document which will have some information. Many of you may never need it, but all we are going to about application, and this is the guidelines. So once you click on that, it will open the application, and once you click on this, it will open the guidelines for the application. So let's close everything else and just focus on this two. I have already opened those two documents. So this is the guidelines and this is the actual form. So when you come at the form, let me see if everything is going well. If you have any question, feel free to ask at this time. I don't see any question, but I'll come back here later. Okay, so there are 15 agents, 15 different professions where HCPC handles the licenses: arts, physiotherapist, chiropractor, clinical scientist, and this and that. All we are worried about part 9, physiotherapist. So you click on that and that's it. First page is done. So section 1. So let's see what the section 1 is. I don't think any of you need any explanation what is your section 1 is. Your detail, first name, nationality. If you are citizen of several other countries, in India you are not allowed to have more than one country. So nationality, if it's India, there cannot be any other country. But there are some people who are citizens of UK and Pakistan, or because those two countries allow dual citizenship. India doesn't allow dual citizenship, or in the UK and also US, because both countries need to allow dual citizenship. Date of birth, gender, national insurance number. If you don't have national insurance number, it's a blank. You will get this number when you come to UK, so don't worry about that. Please provide your current address. So this is your current address, and make sure you put proper email address, because that's how they are going to communicate with you. Okay, so let's I don't need a drawing board. Okay, completion of the form. Answer all. So this is a guidelines form we are in. Who is eligible? To be eligible to apply for registration via international route, you must have undergone training in one of the relevant professions elsewhere that in the UK. So you should have done physiotherapy in some other country. That's all it's saying. Before you apply, ensure that you are eligible to apply for registration and have read and our standard proficiency of a profession and standard code of conduct, performance and ethics, which can be found on our website. So we will talk some other day about it. Right now we are just going to focus on the form, completing the form. So you have to fill out this form inside the computer. You don't have to take a printout and do it. Answer all the questions as fully as possible. Attach a current passport style photograph. Don't forget to attach a passport style photograph to the first page of the applications form. This form can also be printed and completed by hand if you decide that way. If you decide to do this, please ensure that complete the form in the black ink and the block capitals, and mark boxes with a cross. So what I certified that this is true copy of original document seen by me. So this is when you are doing some notarization. You will be required to submit certified copies of documents with your application form. Documents should be certified by a lawyer or a notary or judicial council office, or a person on a standing community, maybe a doctor or like that, but try to get your documents notarized. The person certifying any document should endorse a copy with the statement, I certify that this is a true copy of the original document seen by me. So they have to write this statement when they certify a document, and sign and date it. They should also include their name, profession, and contact details. So make sure when you certify or do notary, this all things are there. For any document which are not in English, you will need to provide a certified copy of official translation. Please do not send us original documents unless we ask them. Okay, so people ask me, do we need original documents? I said, no, we have to get or this kind of copies. If you have previously done the application, then you go through this. Now the section 1, which we already did, name and name changes. If you have done name changes, make sure you follow this. Home address, other contact details, and verifying your identity. You must provide us with a certified copy of. So because you gave some kind of an address, they are asking some kind of a documentation, your current passport and national certification card. One of the following documents showing that your full name and current address. So you should have several documents which proves that this is your address, a household bill, or a current full driving license, or a bank, or a building, or credit card, a mortgage statement, a local government tax. If you do not have any of this because you're living with your parents or something, that make sure you get some kind of a details. Please provide us with the email address and telephone number. We will use this communication. Okay, and verifying your address, you must provide us a certified copy of this, your current passport or national ID. So you all should have a passport. So make sure you give a certified copy of your passport and one of the following documents showing. So you should have one of these documents. So you should be able to get one address proof that, okay, you have that address proof. Okay, so that is section 1. Okay, let's come back. Okay, how is it going so far? Hope it was so far so easy, right? Writing a name and address shouldn't be a problem to anyone. Okay, now let's come back to the section 2. Please tell us more about your qualification in the relevant profession. Name of the qualification means a Bachelor of Physiotherapy. Name of the qualification in English. So if it's in English means you can keep it blank if you already wrote here in English. Qualification start date and end date. When did you join the college, finish the college? Have you provided the course information form? Have you provided the course information form? Yes and no. So course information form is this. I did not use it, but this is the form, course information form. So you can say yes or no. Uh, I I came across this form while I was studying to teach, take a webinar. So I don't know what this form is, but we'll come to it. Name and address of the education institute. Simple enough. Please provide official contact details of the course administrator. Means whoever your college or whoever the person is taking care of your stuff in the college. Usually there is one particular person in the college who takes care of all the stuff. Please list any additional forms and qualifications you hold. Name of the qualification. If you have anything else like any other certification you have or any other qualifications you have, you can put it. People ask me they have a manual certificate or manual training certificate. Do not include short courses, example day courses. So if it's a day course, don't include it. If it's a long course like manual therapy and Mohanty and Mulligan and Mackenzie, they are long courses. It's not a one-day course. So if you have done those kind of courses which gives you the certification, then put it. But don't put like if you did one day just a shoulder pain course and don't put it like, but you did some nice certification course in balance or something, feel free to add it. In the worst case, they will not accept it. If you put one day course, that's no brainer because it clearly says do not include short courses like a day courses. Example of if you have more qualification, more than one, evidence required. So whenever you do it, make sure you put an evidence. Please provide certified copies. Make sure you don't put original. Course information form. So please provide additional details, contact, duration of training. You must provide and complete a course information form, which you may download on the website as I showed you there. This form must be completed and certified by the awarding institution. Okay, so the institution needs to fill out this course. The course information forms needs to set out a detailed description of the content of the modules and subjects studies, as well as any practical experience gained during the course. So whoever did this course, whoever gave you this course, they have to fill. I know it's a lot of pain, but if you want the credit of that, tell to explain it this to them that this is how it should be, fill out in this form, and they can do it. Or the other way is you certify those documents with a notary. That's another way. So let's go back to section 2 guidelines. If we are missing anything, qualification in the relevant profession. In this section, we provide detail of our relevant training, degree or diploma or other qualification which enable to practice your profession in elsewhere than UK. So a certified copy of your professional qualification, and where appropriate, a certified copy of an English translation. Means if it's not in English, you may also include details of any additional qualification which you consider are relevant to your application in the section. You do not need to provide details of your general school education unless it's directly relevant to your practices as a healthcare profession. Means don't send your 10th mark sheet and 12th mark sheet and 11th mark sheet and practical training you did in the school or something unless you feel it's relevant to physical therapy or physiotherapy. In UK, call it physiotherapy. Course information form. Your application should include course information form which has been completed and certified by your university or training institution. So those course information form needs to be completed by your training institute. This form is not in the applicable pack, but is available, and the means they will not send it in the pack, but it's available to download as I showed you right below the form. The form can be downloaded and sent to your university or training institution as an email attachment. The course information form provides us with the detailed and theoretical and practical content of the courses you have successfully undertaken. Means you have taken all the courses, you just should mention it. The form must bear the stamp or seal of the university or training institution and include contact details of the course administrator or another appropriate members of staff who may be contacted as a part of the verification process. Okay, so that's all the section 2 was. It is a lot of work, I know, but this is how the process is. Listen, UK doesn't have any examination, but they verify that you studied. I got registration in US, and the process is way more difficult. You have to go through FCCPT, FSDPT. You have to take a big test. Then you have to verify the TOEFL, and you have to verify the state board. So you have to check and balance it, and every state has different laws and guidelines. So this is a much simpler process comparing to United States. Come back to section 3, professional experience. So people ask me they do not have any experience, then get some kind of experience. Tell us more about your professional experience, including internship. So you should and you must have an internship. So if you did some internship somewhere, you can put it. People ask me, can they put internship? I say, read the form. It says everything. We will contact chosen employers and supervisors to confirm the information you provided. Please only give details of post relevant to your profession. Means whatever the internship and training you did around physiotherapy, that all you can put it in. So name of the employer or organization, means if you have done the internship, put it here. Employer's address, they call it employer's address, even though if you were not getting paid, put the employer's address, even though it was an internship. International code, so if it's India, 91. If it's other country, get your, there's already plus sign there, and put a phone number. Make sure you put proper email address, because they will send an email to that person. Contact name, whom should they contact, start date and end date, or if it's already going on. Hours per week, position held in English, and were you registered with the regulatory or professional body within this post. People from India always ask me that they need APT, not APT, IAP registration or not. The answer is no. You do not need any IAP or any Indian institution license or registration. We do not have any council. So if, but so means you do not need any registration number. So whenever they ask, make sure you leave it blank, because HCPC is aware that we do not require any registration. We do not have any body. All you need is a college or university transcript. Please provide more details of this post into account the key completion for the practice of it. Please describe the work setting and provide a summary of the range of services users you dealt with. Means what kind of work you did. You work in orthopedics, what kind of patients you saw. You work in neurology, what kind of patients you saw. What kind of diagnosis, how you were doing a diagnosis, or were you doing a diagnosis or not. What kind of work, then you can put a treatment plan. Then you can put you had to set up a goal, so you can put all those things if you were doing it, because we do all these things every day, but sometimes we don't know how to put it in writing. So include all these things that we assess the patient, subjective assessment, objective assessment, and clinically we check the patient. We check patient's history, medical history, and then we make a short-term goals, we make long-term goals. Then we of short-term goals are 1 week, and long-term goals are 5 to 6 weeks. So you set up those goals into that. So make sure you put all those things. You can also put differential diagnosis, that if patient has a back pain, and we make sure that patient doesn't have back pain coming from different conditions. So these are all the things. Check and learn about physiotherapy assessment, and you can put all those things whatever you do in the assessment. And assessment includes goals and diagnosis and all those things. Okay, if you have any question, feel free to write in the comment section, and see if they have a huge section given. Try to make it as right as much as possible. I know it's a little difficult part, but this is the most difficult part, I would say, other than getting documents from your college. Tell us more about your professional experience, including internships. Means they want to give more information. That was about one internship, but if you work somewhere else, then you write down here, and the same thing, more and more. Because some people might have worked 3, 4, 5 years in India or other countries, and they have a lot of experience comparing to who just finished the college. Professional registration and membership. Please list in chronological order. Before we go there, let's study section 3 so we are not missing anything. Section 3 is small. Please use this section to tell us about your professional experience. You should provide as much detail as possible to help us determine whether you meet HCPC standard of proficiency. The information should be provided in a chronological order with your most recent experience first. Please explain any significant gaps, like if you have more than 6 months gap, make sure you tell them. Like in the coronavirus, if you had 6 months of gap, tell them that because of virus, your nursing home was closed, or you were not going home visits, or like that. You can use an additional sheet of paper if necessary. For each place where you work, you must provide us with the name and contact details of your supervisor or manager. We will contact them to verify the information provided. Now, many people do home visits and they say they do not have any employer. Then the other way to do that is, where were your maximum referrals coming from? Was it from a neurologist or a doctor? So there should be one doctor, or you should be in the contact of the doctor, or if you are not, then try to contact with the doctor that, okay, I'm checking your patient, and give a regular update to the doctor. And you can write in the description that he's not an employer, but he's your supervisor, and doctors are ultimately the gatekeepers of our system. So you can convince the doctor that because I'm seeing your patient and I need your help in being you are my supervisor, and you can discuss some case, what kind of a surgery was done and everything with the patient. So you try to understand that if you don't have an employee, you can try to make your most refer where you're coming from as your supervisor, and use their email address as contact detail. In addition of this information, we can encourage you to provide a reference in support of your application. They should be written by someone who has been your supervisor or otherwise responsible for your professional capacity. So again, your doctor can be your referral. They can write a good letter. You must submit at least one completed professional experience form. So as it says that you must need one professional reference. There are so many topics and videos and information available on YouTube how to write and reference letter. If you want to write in the comment section, and someday we will cover about what should be included in the professional experience form or this reference letter. Let's go to section 4. Meanwhile, I'll check here what's going on in my chat page. There are 2 people. Roma has said that the internship which we have in our college as a part of the course, this is 6 months compulsory internship. Should we mention that? Yes, Roma, as 8 days course is okay. 8 days course is a long thing, and yes, internship should be mentioned, and make sure that you contact someone who dealt with your internship in college and reference name. So the internship should come last. If you are a senior, internship should come last because that was your first thing. But even if it's your first, then you should have a recent connection with your college professor. So make sure that you get a proper email address of your professor, and because they should expect an email from HCPC to say that, okay, this is this person has referred you, do you agree to that, and yes and no. I don't know what happens, what kind of letter they get, but they do get some correspondence. Professional registration and membership, name of the organization. Please list in a chronological order regulatory professional bodies with which you have been registered or what you have been member. Well, we do not need in India, we do not need any registration or licensing. So we have to leave this and let's go and see what section 4 says. In this section, you need to tell us about your registration by or membership with any registration body, professional association, or similar organization. You should provide this information in respect of the country in which you are currently established and any other countries where you have worked or lived. In my case, I lived in US also. So I had to give all the information of US and India. And in India, we do not have any licensing and registration. So you can leave it blank. You do not need anything over there. If any part of this video, if with your experience, if you some other kind of information you have, feel free to write in the comment section, because I cannot say I know everything, but if you know something which I'm wrong, make sure you put that information in the comment section, so we make sure that people in future don't make the same mistake. English proficiency, where most people have struggled. People refer to the standard proficiency. Every registrant must ensure that they can communicate effectively with patients, clients, users, and carers and other professions. Is English your first language? You should only indicate that English is your first language if it's the main and only language you use on a day-to-day basis. I have heard that in Mizoram or some states are allowed to use yes. I lived in US for 10 years, so I was allowed to put yes, English is my first language. Because English was my first language in US. Other than that, they have information. Here is what score they need for English 5. Each registration must ensure that they can communicate effectively. You must declare whether English is your first language or not. You should only indicate English your first language is the main language. Having studied English or undertaken education or training on an institution where the medium or instruction is English does not necessarily mean that English is your first language. Necessarily means if English is not your first language, then you must provide the proof of your English language proficiency. Applications whose first language is not English and who are required to provide a language test certification evidence of their proficiency. So here is the score. For TOEFL, 118 minimum score. This is for speech language, so we need to worry about all of the profession. The speech language needs a little more proficiency. For us, minimum score is 100, and for IELTS 7 with no element less than 6.5. For some people it's hard, for some people it's easy, but this is what they are asking for. Let's go to section 6, paying your security fee. This is very important because this is so payment of this application, payment of for this application only once your application has started being processed. You will receive an email from this email with a link World Pay Payment Service. Please follow the link to make a payment and within 10 days. So make sure within 10 days you make a payment once you get. This is a beautiful email. This is a very important email. This means they received an application and they are going to start the process. Expired links can be reissued by emailing to them. However, this will delay the application. So as soon you get an email, so make sure you put your best email address where you get all your which you check your email like 2-3 times a day. So let's come back to section 6. Okay, so security fee. The fee we ask you to send with your application is called security fee. This is a one-off non-refundable payment of £495. Once your application has started being processed, you will receive an email from this with a link toward pay. Please follow the link. Registration cycle. Your registration cycle is biannual and is made up of 2 professional years. We will advise you. So you don't need to worry about registration cycle, but you need to worry about that it will cost you £495. It is a lot of money, but this is what they're charging the application fee. And once, so you do not have to send any money. Make sure don't send any check or anything with the application. Once you send all this application with your documents and everything, and once they look at it, they will send you an email. Once you get an email, that doesn't mean that your application is approved. All it means they are going to start the process, and in later, after within 6 weeks, you will get a message that okay, they accepted, or what other information they need. Okay, declaration. Please read and complete and sign below. I declare that I have read and understood and will comply with HCPC's standard of conduct, performance, and ethics. We will cover one day about standards, conduct, and performance and ethics. I understand that I must have in place a professional indemnity arrangement which provides appropriate cover, and I confirm that I will have this in place when I practice. I agree to pay fees for my registration. Means you send a form and at the later you say no, I don't want to give you money. Means no, you are the declaration. I consent to the HCPC contacting any person to obtain further information about my application or to verify the information that I have provided, and agree that any person who is so conducted may provide the HCPC with the information about me which that person holds. Means you are giving consent to HCPC to contact that person, like a professor or employer or supervisor or whoever that may be. I confirm that the information I have provided is correct, and I understand that fraudulent processing and entry in that HCPC is a criminal offense. Article 39 means if you do something wrong, it's a criminal offense. So don't put wrong information. Character and health and vetting and barring. Have you ever been convicted as a criminal? So if you are a criminal or if you've been convicted, put yes and no. Whatever it is, hopefully it's no. Have you been disciplined by a professional regulation body or employer? Have you ever had been a civil, means something has happened or you did something wrong, or like that. So hopefully it's no for everybody, but if it's yes, make sure that you put it properly. Do you have any physical or mental health condition? If you have any physical issue or something, that you should mention it. It doesn't go against your license, but HCPC needs to know that. Are you or have ever been barred under the safeguarding vulnerable group? Means there was some child protection issue, vulnerable. I mean, you had some issues with some kids, or you put them at risk or something. So if you are, you know, you did something wrong. So hopefully it's no for everyone. And sign. When you print out, you can sign it. Checklist. So before you send the application, make sure that you put all of this in the application. You have read and understood. You have read and understood. You have read guidelines. You have included the security fee payment email address. The copy of your ID. The copy of your ID is certified, means your passport is certified. The copy proof of your email is certified. You have provided certified proof of any name change. If it's on a passport, photo is attached. You have included a certified copy of your relevant qualification, certification, and an official translation. Means whatever your transcripts and whatever you are sending, make sure it's properly certified and everything, and you put the email address. You have provided the original and the certified translation of the courses. You have provided at least one completed form of relating your experience, conducted details, means its a reference letter is there. Please do not stamp any part of this application, means you don't staple, sorry, don't staple any part of this application. Please do not send part of this application in a separate plastic or wallet or covers. Parts of this application in separate plastic, means just put it directly in the envelope. For confirmation of safe receipt, it is advisable to send the application by registered mail, so you will be able to track it. So they want you to send a registered. So this is the application process. If you have any question, let's take some question. Okay, now so if you let me go through this question, and if you have any question, then we'll go. What if we have IAP? Zil, if you have IAP, then you put it in the registration section. Nabi, as we don't have any registration or license body, then what should we do? Leave it blank. Don't ask any question. I'll give you an opportunity. Please, do we need to put documents section wise or everything together? Do we need to put document section wise? I mean, it's good to put documentation section wise or everything. Still, I will ask you to speak later. I did not get exactly. Sir, I have completed my post-graduation recently. Is there any need of necessary experience? So, Salvin, you should have a lot of experience doing it. So you should have a lot of internship, and master's is a lot of clinical training. So you should be able to put a lot of internship, because internship is part of an experience. So you should be teaching or clinically seeing the patient. If you have some teaching experience, so make sure you put that also. Now, whoever has a question, please say question, and I will ask you to ask the question, or unmute yourself and ask a question. There should be a button, green mic. Zil, unmute yourself. There is a mic button, and ask a question.
Hello.
Hi, Zil, I can hear you.
Yeah, hi, Manan. The information which you have provided, it is very helpful. But I just wanted to ask that if I have 4 years of experience, so do I need to write each and everything of it, or like one or two full experiences enough?
Make sure you have the most recent experience there. I mean, is there any reason you don't want to put all the experience in? If they are not going to give you good reference, then you can leave it. But if you think they are going to give you the reference, most likely they will contact the most recent ones. So make sure your first, second, and third are very solid. The later ones, you can put it without the contact details and say the company is closed, or the person moved, or something like that, or you can put the contact information. But if there is any particular reason not to put, then you can leave. You cannot mention it.
Okay, so I have three different hospitals to mention. So the most recent one I will disclose in form number 1, right?
Yeah.
Section 3, form number 1.
Section 3, form number 1. 1 second. Section 3. Yeah, form number 1. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then after that, another institute I'll write in form number 2.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
So what if I have more than 3, because I need to write my internship also. So I can add these forms, or how it will be?
Okay. Let's see the instruction. So section 3. If additional this information, we encourage you to provide reference in support of your application. They should be written by the someone who has been your supervisor. We will contact. Yeah, you can make extra copy of this form and you can attach it. That should be fine.
So same like form number 1, form number 2, with all the details I can make
Yeah.
the extra copy of it. So that will be form number 3, from form number 4, like that.
Yes, yes, you must submit at least one. Yes, that's fine. Yes, or they can just write a reference letter. If you have a reference letter from them, you can just add a reference letter.
Okay, so if I'll write my three different experience from different institute, and fourth I will be write it down internship. So totally I will write 4 forms for all over my professional experience. Is it okay?
That's fine. That's fine. There is no limit on it. They want to know as much as possible. In
Okay.
So as it says that in addition to this information, we encourage you to provide references support of your application. So what they are saying is make sure your first 2 are very solid. Means
Okay.
they should be able to contact them back, and the rest are reference letters. That's what that I'm reading it while you're talking, that we encourage you to provide a reference in support of your application. They should be written by someone who has been supervising you. So don't make a copy. So whatever say I said, make form number 3, take it, I'm taking it back. So make sure your form number 1 and form number 2 are very solid, that they can contact them back. For the remaining references, they want you to write a reference letter from your employer or supervisor.
Okay.
Okay.
So in form number 1, I'll write my recent experience, and in form number 2, I'll write down my internship, and for both of it, I'll provide everything, and then rest of the other things, I'll write it. Take reference letters.
Yeah. So whatever you put your email address, make sure that someone is reading those emails and they should be able to reply you back.
Yes, yes, sure, sure.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay, and sorry, can I ask one more question, please?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that course, 8-day course and everything. So we have transcript. For example, I have done Mulligan from Deepak Kumar. So
Mm-hmm.
I have transcript and everything. But for that also, do we need to provide course information form, or how is it? Course information form is only for university, right?
Course information is for those courses too, but you can notarize those documents which you have. So make a copy and get it notarized,
Okay,
because
okay.
it's very hard to get those documents back from whoever gave you the course. So make sure
Yeah.
you notarize those copies, and there is a statement which I mentioned. So they write that statement, I certify. So you all are able to see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, I certified that this is a true copy and this all information is there. It is written in the first page. So make sure this all is fulfilled when they
Okay.
certify. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody
Thank
else?
you.
Any question? Yeah, you're welcome, Jill. Let me know if you have any other question, and write in the comment section in the YouTube video when it's posted. If anybody else any question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, let's see. Salvain, you wanna ask a question, because I did not quite get, so you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Salvain, I will try to unmute you if you cannot do it. Salvain, I cannot unmute you. You have to do it by yourself. Okay, Hardik, Jignesh, Roma, Salvain, you have any other question? Okay, so I hope you all understood this. It's it is a process. So make sure that you gather all the documents, and every time you send documents, expect 6 weeks time. They're 6 week cycle. It takes 6 weeks. If they are missing some documents, they will come back to you and say that, okay, this information is missing. So count 6 weeks from that again. That it will take another 6 weeks from there. It took me good 6 to 8 months to get HCPC license and certification. My Texas license took the longest time. I was hoping it will get very quick, but that's why, because mine was India and US and I had to put everything in UK. That's the reason it took me a little longer. On top of that, they also asked me to write an assignment. Because they were not satisfied with everything I submitted, so they wanted to write one assignment, but I submitted them 2 assignments, and in that assignments, you can give an assignment, a case study or clinical study you have done. So if you have any of those presentation you have done, make sure you keep that. They do not expect you to send it with the application, but later on they can ask you. Can we get recording of this webinar? Yes, Jill, we will get, I will put it on the YouTube. So make sure that you all are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Where is it? It's a Physio Gateway. If you are subscribed to my email, you will get an email. You will get an email of this. Okay, here it is. So Physio Gateway is my channel I'm running. Here it will be. Okay, everyone, I think it was a nice webinar, and I hope I was able to pass the message. You're welcome, Roma. Everyone. Okay, I will close the session now. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Manan. Thanks for all the information.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.